Did you just see that Huckabee segment on The Factor? Well, you'll want to watch what's next.
That they are helpless without Uncle Sugar coming in and providing for them a prescription each month for birth control because they cannot control their libido.
Governor Mike Huckabee in the center of a firestorm over women and birth control. He's here to react in a Kelly File exclusive. And then
Obama has a dream from his father.
The man behind a documentary challenging President Obama is now under indictment. See why his supporters think this is political payback. Plus,
one branch of the Tea Party being nothing but a 2.0 upgrade of the men's party.
The left ramps up its Tea Party attacks with an eye on the midterms. We've got one fierce debate just ahead. And what about A.R.M?
When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get.
See why one of America's favorite sports reporters is now getting attacked for the Sherman sideshow tonight on The Kelly File.
Breaking tonight, the man at the heart of a new political firestorm speaks out on The Kelly File. Good evening, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. For more than 24 hours, we have seen some fierce criticism being leveled against former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee over remarks he made at a Republican National Committee meeting yesterday. CNN's Dana Bash taking to Twitter to say, at RNC meeting, at Mike Huckabee just said Fed government shouldn't help women who can't control their libido with birth control. From there, it was on. From Salon, keep talking, Mike Huckabee. Your creepy obsession with women's libidos will just elect more Democrats. And there are dozens and dozens more like that. While all over the cable broadcasts, critics slammed the governor as out of touch. Watch.
It's not exactly what I think Republicans were planning on.
It sounds offensive to me and to women.
It's pretty clear that he doesn't believe women should have birth control. I think he has an issue with women's equality overall.
Some women out there probably were wincing when they heard that.
It's gross, you know.
This is getting back to the narrative of slut shaming, for lack of a better term, when it comes to women. And if old white men could get pregnant, abortion would be a constitutional right.
I don't care how you cut it. Talking about women's libido and Uncle Sugar or Sugar Daddy, I don't know what member of the family they want to make sugar, is not a good picture.
But now the governor is fighting back, as are some of his defenders, saying his comments are being taken out of context. And Dana Bash had to correct her original tweet, because here is what the governor actually said yesterday.
Women I know are outraged that the Democrats think that women are nothing more than helpless and hopeless creatures whose only goal in life is to have the government provide for them birth control medication. Women I know are smart, educated, intelligent, capable of doing anything that anyone else can do. Our party stands for the recognition of the equality of women and the capacity of women. That's not a war on them, it's a war for them. And if the Democrats want to insult the women of America by making them believe that they are helpless without Uncle Sugar coming in and providing for them a prescription each month for birth control because they cannot control their libido or their reproductive system without the help of the government, then so be it. Let us take that discussion all across America, because women are far more than the Democrats have played them to be. And women across America need to stand up and say, enough of that nonsense.
Joining me now, Mike Huckabee, former governor of Arkansas, a former presidential candidate, and the host of Huckabee right here on the Fox News Channel. Governor, good to see you. So we've shown the viewers the firestorm that erupted and the criticisms of you. So let me get right to it and ask you directly. Are you suggesting that women who use birth control cannot control their libidos?
Of course not. In fact, everything I was accused of saying, I was actually saying the polar opposite. This was an affirmation of the intelligence, of the capability of women. I've been married 40 years to a very strong woman, a wonderful person who can do things I can't do. She's smart, she's capable. She doesn't need someone to prop her up because, like my wife, my daughter-in-law, I'm insulted for them, and they're insulted when the Democrats portray them as victims of their gender. And so it wasn't even about contraceptives. It was about the way that Democrats have accused Republicans of having a war on women, when Republicans believe that women are quite our equal. We don't think that it somehow is going to be necessary for them to have a government subsidy and government support, or they're not going to be able to make it.
Okay, but this is where some women and others have taken issue with you. That the Democrats would say they don't view women as the victims of their gender. They view them as living, functioning human beings who have a reproductive system and the ones who have to carry the babies, and therefore, and by the way, sexual beings, and therefore, to be responsible when having sexual relations, they need birth control. Even if they are having, even if they're not having sexual relations for the purpose of enjoyment, then they might need birth control because they have a health issue, they have a medical issue. And it's not about seeing women as victims, it's about getting them the medical coverage they need.
And Megan, to that point, I'm not opposed to women having contraceptives or birth control unless they're abortifacients, and then I don't want to pay for them out of my tax dollars because I think that is morally repugnant. I signed, in fact, a bill in 2005 when I was a governor that included contraceptives as part of the state plan. So I'm not opposed to women having access to it. I'm opposed to Democrats treating women as though they somehow are incapable of being able to function unless the Democrats and particularly the government comes in to rescue them. And if people listen to what I said, which, by the way, Megan, it was exactly what I said, exact words that I said on my television show a week ago. The
words were a little different from a week ago, and what you said on the radio wasn't controversial. I think you would admit you said a little better on the radio show than you said it at the RNC meeting. Do you not admit that?
I still use the word libido because I don't think there's anything wrong with libido.
But the way you put it,
women have it.
You put it in terms of having to control, that the Democrats believe that women need the government in order to control their libidos. And that sounded to many like you were placing a judgment on it. Like, first of all, you acknowledge that the vast majority of people in this country, of adults in this country, have libidos and act on them, and that the vast majority of those people use birth control when they do not desire to have a baby as a result of those libido instincts, correct?
No arguments.
And
no
are you
arguments
passing any judgment on that? The use of birth control by couples having intercourse who are not looking to have a baby?
No, and I didn't say that. My pushback is not about contraceptives. The comment wasn't about it. It was about Democrats and this phony war on women that they have pretended Republicans have.
Okay, but let me ask you. I'm going to give you the floor.
Let me finish this, though.
I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay.
I'm going to give it all to you. But here's what they say. They say endometriosis can be caused, can be helped by birth control. Okay, polycystic ovary syndrome can be helped by birth control. Bad skin can be helped by birth control. There are all sorts of reasons why women take birth control, and there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to get it from their employers. That's what they say, and they say it's not the government paying for it; it's the women paying for it when they pay their premium under their policies. And so they take issue with you characterizing it as Uncle Sugar having to step in and control their libidos.
No, and I didn't say that Uncle Sugar, which, by the way, is a Southern term. A lot of people have said, where did that come from? If they'd grown up in the South, they would have known that Uncle Sugar is the combination of Uncle Sam and a sugar daddy. And it's a long-time Southern expression.
I mean, I figured it out eventually.
More people need to grow up in the South. It's a colorful way to live and talk in the South. And so the idea that somehow I was disparaging women, it's the polar opposite. And that's what was so ridiculous about some of these tweets. But look, this is a serious issue that ought to have some thoughtful discussion. It cannot be reduced to 140 characters, which is unfortunately, I think, what happened yesterday. A couple of reporters tried to reduce this entire issue to a tweet. They got it wrong. They later came back and corrected it. But by then, the firestorm had started. But if people will listen carefully in context, now, if they want to parse every word, people can believe, can hear what they want to hear. What I was going to say before, to somehow characterize that I was taking offense to women is the opposite. I was elevating and affirming that women are quite capable as equals to men. It's why, Megan, when I was governor, I appointed more women to executive-level positions in the state government than any governor in our state's history, including Bill Clinton. So, I'm not having to apologize to anybody for the record I have on women's issues, and I certainly don't need to say that, oh, well, I'm so sorry that I actually believe that women are equal to men and that are capable and strong. But I think people are missing the entire point. The point was not about that issue. It was about how Democrats have accused Republicans of having a war on women. And I push back on that, and I will continue to push back on it.
And have reduced women
because I
to
don't think
that one
Republicans
issue.
are having a war on women.
And have reduced women to being all about that one issue. We heard a lot of that in the last campaign. Understood. Governor, great to see you, sir.
Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it.
See you soon.